I've reviewed a lot of Clint Eastwood movies on my channel. I'm a really big fan as an actor, both as an actor and a director, to be honest. One of my favourite people in the movie business, so to speak. Not speaking personally, just in terms of the kind of movies he makes. I'm just a big fan. There's rarely been a single movie of his that I didn't like, to be honest. I could count the movies I didn't like on one hand. City Heat was released in 1984 and is directed by Richard Benjamin. Stars Clint Eastwood, obviously, but also Burt Reynolds. And it's not had particularly great scores. You know, when I look on the film sites, IMDb, Letterboxd and things like that, it tends to be one of those movies in Eastwood's career that sits round about the bottom. I was curious. I was curious to see if this would be one of the ones that there you go. There's a Clint Eastwood movie I don't like. So this is a crime noir set in the 30s, and it follows this detective, an actual police officer and a private detective who are at loggerheads with each other. We don't know why. You know, there's something's happened in the past that's they used to be partners, now they're not, and they hate each other. Can't stand to be in the same room as each other. But for whatever reason, they end up on this same case, working this same case. Now, Eastwood is pretty much Eastwood in this. He's to take all the tropes that you would think of when Eastwood plays a character. The tough, grizzled. Doesn't say much, but when he does say it, it's pretty pithy, it's pretty funny. He doesn't take any crap off anyone. He's that guy. And then Burt Reynolds is this kind of, Jack the lad, always getting himself into trouble, not really a very good detective, and that's why he's ended up being a private detective rather than remaining a police officer. And it's just, it's kind of like one of them movies where you stick two guys together who don't like each other and they're going to work the same case, and you have fun with it. Now, the problem is that, one, they don't actually get together all that much. Much of what happens is them doing their own separate things, and they crisscross now and again. And two, and this is the biggest one for me, is you never find out why they hate each other so much. There's literally about 2/3 of the way into the movie, there's a really great opportunity to pepper in some backstory, to pepper in some reasons as to why these guys dislike each other, and then have a bit of character growth by the end where, you get to a point where perhaps they might not necessarily love each other, but at least be able to tolerate each other. A little bit of character growth there. That's all you need, really, in the movie, just to give it something. Unfortunately, it doesn't have any of that. We end the film with these characters being essentially exactly the same as they were at the beginning towards each other, and not understanding why. Still no clue as to their backstory, as to why they hate each other. So it feels like really lazy writing. It feels a bit pointless. There's no depth. That's the thing. There's no depth to the story. There's no reason for us to root for these characters or anything, really, which is a real shame, because actually the film looks beautiful. The period detail is phenomenal. The cinematography is really great. I love the look of the film. I love the production design. It's like all the technical aspects that go into making a movie like this are on point. It's really great. Even like the performances. Burt Reynolds. I'm not a Burt Reynolds fan. There's something about the guy, to be honest, that I've always found a little bit annoying. I kind of tolerate him in a movie like Boogie Nights, but he isn't the reason that a film like Boogie Nights is a great film for me. He just happens to be in it. I don't know why. Maybe it's for Smokey and the Bandit thing, maybe having that drilled into me as a kid. Saturday afternoons, you only had 3 channels, and Smokey and the Bandit, I would be forced to watch that. So, oh man, I couldn't stand it. So that's essentially, and he is in one of the worst episodes of The X-Files. So there's that as well. So for whatever reason, maybe it's just as superficial as that, I've just never warmed to Burt Reynolds. And yet, here, he's kind of likable. The charm, the fact that he is a bit, you know, he's a low rung on the ladder, and yet he's still got a lot of grit about him, a lot of determination about him, even though his situation around him is never looking particularly great. He keeps plodding on. So I kind of like the guy in this, and I like the banter between him and Eastwood when they get together. I mean, when we're introduced to the characters, how they're introduced is quite wacky. It's quite funny, and I enjoy what's going on. I like, you know, the bouncing off of each other. But if you're never going to get to a place where we understand why that is the way it is, why their relationship is as it stands, then I don't really care, you know. And the plot is, you know, it's a good one, although fairly generic in terms of, you know, your noir thriller kind of type movies. But it's you know, it's a good plot, and yet it's just that something that's missing, and it's that character development. It's that reason to want these guys to get together in a sequel, shall we say, you know, and there isn't, you know. Like, I think of a modern equivalent like The Nice Guys. I want a sequel to The Nice Guys because I understand those two people. I understand why they're opposites, why they're sometimes at loggerheads, but despite their differences towards the end, they reach an understanding that means these two, like, pieces that shouldn't fit together can somehow fit together and proceed. Whereas here, not so much. Like, if there's any kind of reason these guys will fit together at the end, it's just because they've solved the case. But beyond that, there's nothing. Again, depth. There's just no depth to it, and it's disappointing. Just a few more go-arounds on the script would have made a world of difference on this. I'm entertained by it, so, you know, despite that negative kind of response, this isn't a film I would say is terrible or even bad, because it is entertaining. It's just disappointing. Like, a few little tweaks could have so easily made this a 4-star movie, and just without those, it's average. It's fun, it's entertaining, but I ain't gonna remember it, you know, 5 weeks from now. I'll be like, I can't remember what it looks like. Don't really remember what happened all that much. So, yeah, there's that. In terms of Eastwood, it is definitely on the bottom of the ladder. What about you, though? Are you someone who differs from the majority, it seems, of people when it comes to this movie? Are you a fan of City Heat? Where does it kind of rank amongst you know, Clint Eastwood's filmography for you? Let me know your thoughts on the film down in the comments section below. Thank you for watching this review, and until next time, cracking.